You ready for this?
Oh,
When did that song come out?
I don't know.
It's like the
90s.
late 80s, early 90s maybe?
The early 90s.
Early 90s? Yeah. That's what we should start all our podcasts with.
Veto.
Y'all ready for this? Beans talk. Just joking. Okay. We're just wasting time sitting here fucking around when we could be talking about Bangkok.
Hi guys, welcome to the Beanstalk Podcast, where we talk about everything travel.
Sharing first-hand travel advice and getting to the bottom of real-life experiences in the hopes to inspire you to get out there yourself.
Okay, Thailand, Bangkok, part 2.
Partido dos.
What?
Is that part in Spanish?
Partido?
Yeah.
I want to say no, but I honestly have no idea. It just sounds wrong.
Yeah, well, anyways. Could be right, could be wrong.
It's like when you're, what is it in Spanish? El Parto?
It's El Plato? Oh, Plato. Okay, anyway.
Plato.
The philosopher, not the plate. I was thinking plate.
Oh, I was thinking, like, the kids' gooey.
Oh, Play-Doh. Like playing with it. The malleable, salty substance. Multicolored, salty substance. Oh, man, we're just derailing quick here.
Okay, part 2.
Yeah, so we stopped last episode with us getting taken for a ride, figuratively and...
metaphorically.
Yes.
Literally
and figuratively. So yeah, we were just getting done with a scam that had taken place. So from that, I feel like we probably should just list our lessons that we learned.
Which were?
1. When someone approaches you and immediately starts complimenting you or commenting on something on your person, like something visually appealing, like Carl's tattoos or his big-ass beard, for instance, just kind of keep your distance if you can and just see what they're all about first.
You don't even need, I don't know, it depends on how you want to go about it, but I would just say be aware of your surroundings.
Totally, that's good.
And, I don't know, it got to the point where I was just sick of it, and you just get a feel for if it is going to be a scam or not, or if this is like a genuine conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Because, I'm sure there were people who came up to you and were like, oh, that's a badass beard, and we're like not trying to scam you or
honestly,
you off.
I don't know if that ever happened in Thailand. It happened in Vietnam, where people were legitimately wanting to talk and just chat with you. Mm-hmm. And then, you'd leave or they'd leave, and they'd say, well, it was great talking with you, or, have a good rest of your night. And you're just like, really? No scam? That's amazing. Wow, Vietnam is awesome.
Yeah.
But in Thailand, 9 times out of 10, it was leading up to a scam where even if someone complimented on my beard or tattoos, I was just like, hand up and like, I'm not even interested. I know where this is going already.
Well, I think Thailand is a lot more riddled with toilets.
With toilets?
With a lot of toilets. No, with tourists.
Squirty purties.
Squirty purties, gross. That just sounds like another ping pong show or something. This is Squirty Purdy. She's our favorite ping pong show player. Anyway.
We got sexy chopsticks, Squirty Purdies, ping pong show.
Oh my god, gross. Oh, I forgot they would do that a lot. I can't even do it. My lips are so dry, I can't make that sound.
Yeah.
I probably need chapstick. No, can't do it.
But yeah, basically, if someone approaches you just be aware of really what's happening to the best of your ability.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, also, if you have bought into one of those scams, or if you're currently on one of those, at this very moment, if you're listening to our podcast,
into one of those, if you're currently on one of those, We're just gonna talk like a radio host.
I'm trying to be very precise with my...
What are the scams all about? Tell us. Whitney, carry on. What I really want to know.
Ew, I do not like that one. Okay, well, I will stop that immediately.
That's hilarious.
Immediately. So if you're currently on one of those rides, then you will want to, I don't know, just be aware that you can get out of it at any time. You don't have to keep going with it. You don't have to keep getting scammed. You can just walk away.
Worry about like, oh, are their feelings going to get hurt? Or, you know, are they going to get pissed off? Or
yeah. Am I going to be rude? Am I disrespectful? Or we worried about that a lot. I remember being like, well, we don't want to seem rude or we don't want to be this. And it's like, no, just fucking be rude. They're trying to rip you off. Like, that's rude.
That's the bottom line.
So tell them to fuck off and get away from them, you know?
Well,
you
don't
just
have
leave.
to do that.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, literally, like...
oh, well, my friends on the podcast said, hey, fuck off, and now I'm going to go.
And so, hey, you know what? Fuck off. You could just say thank you, no thank you, and leave. So.
You could literally not say anything and just walk off.
Pretty much, yeah. You're not obligated to them. I mean, yeah, if the fare is only like 40 baht, maybe throw them down 40 baht for driving you around and then just be like, yeah, I don't want to keep doing this.
You could even just hand them the 40 baht that you agreed on and just be like, I'm leaving, and then just walk
away. See you later. They'll just find someone else to scam. So literally you're not attached to that ride and their feelings won't be hurt. Well, maybe they will. I don't know. But if you just take off, they've probably had that happen to them a lot.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, the biggest scam destinations are the suit shop and the gem shop.
Yes. So.
But I mean, if you're in there, like we said, just say no, which might be you having to repeat it 100 times, and you can just walk out or not say anything and just leave.
Totally. Yeah. Just get the hell out of there.
Yeah. You're free to leave at any time.
Yep. That's it. So that's kind of what we learned from getting scammed the first time, and I would like to say it was the last time we got scammed, but it's not. So you'll have to listen for more episodes and hear more about that. But yeah, so in Bangkok we did have like 8 to 10 days, like we were saying last episode, before Carl's younger brother and his girlfriend got there. So M, Martin and Megan, are the two who we were waiting for, but we had plenty of time to kill in the meantime, so we did a lot.
Yeah, we definitely had some full-on days.
Mm-hmm. We did get really comfortable with like the area around us because we did a lot of walking around, and we don't want to like pay every time for like a tuk-tuk or a cab or even a train or bus.
It's super fun to just wander around anyway.
That's the best way to see a city, is to just kind of wander.
So we got a really good feel for a pretty large area around where we were staying.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
One thing I remember, there were a lot of stray dogs.
Cats.
Oh,
not
whoops.
so much dogs.
Do you remember? It. I do remember.
I remember that there is this... Oh, wait, no. Was it?
Just kidding. No,
I don't remember at all.
No, there were a lot of stray cats, not dogs. Yeah, lots of those about. And another kind of odd animal that we saw that you wouldn't really be used to seeing anywhere else.
Just that you didn't hear about or know about, and all of a sudden we're like, whoa.
Whoa, that's... So there were these canals that you would be passing... And like
there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of canals. And so in these canals, there would be like, either a rock or a bit of bamboo. And we were just walking down the street one day, and I look over into the canal, and we see this huge monitor lizard. Monitor. I don't even say the word that much. That's how rare they are for us to see. No, so these huge monitor lizards. And they almost look like mini Komodo dragons.
But they're still big.
But they're big.
They're still like 4 or 5 feet long.
Yeah, we were like used to seeing the little geckos on the walls, and then all of a sudden we're like, holy shit, don't go swimming in the canals.
Oh, God. You wouldn't want to anyway. No, the water is disgusting.
What was that?
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Another thing that we did notice, though, was in the electrical poles, basically where they'd meet up. Not everywhere, but a lot of them.
Were they telephone poles or were they electrical poles?
I don't know.
But
one or the other.
They just had shit ton of wires, though.
Yeah, it was just like a jumbled rat's nest. It was so crazy. The amount of wiring that was just... It was like the biggest electrical wire dreadlock.
It was basically like a giant ball of yarn, but it was all electrical wires. Like raised above your head on poles, because, that's where they kept them.
And it's like, how would you even know what to fix?
I would hate to be an electrician in Bangkok.
It looked crazy. It seemed very, very unorganized and... Just
dangerous. Like, straight up no regulations whatsoever. I think we had even seen, like, a couple wires fallen sometimes on the street, hadn't we? And we were like, oh, shit, go a different way.
Like... Yeah, definitely like split or it just fell from the connection. Yeah. It's just like this probably live wire laying there and you're like, don't touch that.
Yeah, so
pretty gnarly.
Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of like safety regulations in Asia. Yeah. We've come to find out. So yeah, we also are pretty big foodies when it comes to just like trying local shit and finding out, what everybody eats and wanting to get around and, delight our taste buds.
Especially with, like, local things that are, have to do with that area.
We just wanted to, we want to branch out. We want to try shit. We're kind of ones that will always try something at least once, no matter how disgusting it is, I think.
Yeah.
As far as food's concerned.
As far as food.
We've got limits as far as, like, personal boundaries. But yeah, with food, we're pretty open, so... But Carl, you were really good at like researching where to find local dishes or like favorite spots to go for certain food, food items. And I remember there was a pad Thai place that you found was really good.
Yeah, it's called Tip Samai. Mm-hmm. It's 2 words, ThipSamai, and it has the best pad Thai I've ever had.
Yeah.
And we've definitely had a lot of pad Thai. When we kind of came full circle and back to Bangkok later on, it was definitely a return visit to this place.
Yeah, and I remember the place usually had like a line down the block.
Yeah.
And when we walked up for the first time, we got lucky, and it was like a slow moment. So we just walked right up, and they had a table that we could go down and sit at. And then, like, literally maybe a minute, not even a minute after we sat down, there was, like, another line that formed down the block. Yeah. So we're like, oh, shit, glad we got in when we did. And
it was so good.
And it was
just
cheap,
got, like,
too.
The shrimp and everything super fresh. They're basically cooking right out front on the street, like on the sidewalk.
Yeah, big walks.
And you can, like, feel the flames from, them cooking up this pad Thai in these huge woks.
Yeah.
And you just see them, like, tossing it up, and you can smell everything, too. It just smells super fresh.
Yeah.
And, they're cracking eggs and throwing it in, and it's so good.
They do have this juice that they offer. I think it's like fresh squeezed orange juice, I want to say. But it's like the local oranges. Like they're not like your standard orange juice.
It doesn't taste like...
It's so sweet.
Yeah.
It's like a little too sweet. I couldn't even finish mine. But they almost kind of like push that on you because it's more expensive than the actual meal itself.
Yeah.
So just be aware when you do go.
You're like, and how many orange juices?
Yeah, and we're like,
two
I think
big
we
ones,
even said like 1, and they brought us 2, and we're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
And that can happen quite a bit if you're with someone too, especially. They'll, bring an extra one. You got to be pretty quick to be like, no, we didn't want that. Otherwise, it's there, and you're gonna have to pay for it.
Exactly. Well, and I remember when we went to go pay the bill here, they like wrote down just Thai something, and we're like, what did we pay for? Like, what is this? And I mean, we paid it. It seemed kind of expensive, but I think it was because of those orange juices.
Probably. But yeah, I mean, they were good. It was just like not even like pulp. It was just like juice, and then even just chunks of orange in there.
It was good. There were.
But yeah, Thailand and or just Southeast Asia in general is definitely known for fresh fruit. It's just got the climate and that these things just thrive.
Yeah, so, and there are fruits that you have never even heard of before.
Yeah.
So just like go to any local market
or street vendor.
Yeah, and they'll have something. Booth. So the stuff that we had tried were rambutans. We had never heard of these. They're kind of weird. They almost look like lychees, but they're like fuzzy. So yeah, it looks like a hairy eyeball kind of. And then when you crack open it, it's like
a white little ball. It's about the size of an eyeball.
It is.
But they kind of taste like grapes. But the mangoes, specifically in Thailand, are the best mangoes because I think there's over 60 different kinds.
And we ate a lot of mango sticky rice.
A lot. Yeah.
It was delicious. Oh, mangosteen is another one that your mom had told us about, and
it's her favorite fruit.
And so she was born and raised in Australia, and so she was able to try mangosteen before, and I think she had gone to Thailand once or twice because her sister lived there. Yeah, she told us about these mangosteen, which they almost look like a little plum, kind of, with leaves
like a little
on the top.
Plum.
Yeah, like a little purple plum with leaves on the top.
They look like a little fruit grenade.
They do. They almost look like a little weapon in Mario or something.
Totally. That's exactly. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So if you could visually picture it like a little 8-bit computer graphic.
Come to life.
It looks like a little Mario hand grenade.
But you open it up and there's these little. They're almost in the shape of like garlic cloves.
Or if you were to open an orange, and the little. Different orange slices. It's like that, but they're white.
Yeah.
So.
But they're really good. I don't even know what they taste like.
Oh my God,
they're
no!
just
it was
they're
like
kind of
an
in their
orange mixed with a pineapple mixed with a coconut. It was the weirdest. Maybe not a pineapple. It was a cross between an orange and a coconut for me.
Yeah,
It was so damn good.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah. But some of the slices have big pits in them, so you got to watch out. Don't go breaking your teeth.
Yeah.
But then there was also papaya and dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit's amazing too.
It was good.
There's those two different kinds where they'll either be white on the inside with those little seeds, or they'll be hot neon, bright as fuck pink.
Or purple-ish. There were kind of shades of it, but yeah.
But some are just glow in the dark pink.
And I would almost compare those to a cross between a kiwi and a watermelon.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, the texture's like a kiwi. Even the little seeds are like that too.
Yeah. But the taste is more, it's very subtle.
Yeah.
So it's not even as sweet as a watermelon. But yeah, it's really fucking good. Then there's guava, pomelo,
rose apple,
jackfruit. Jackfruit's weird. It looks like a durian, but bigger, and it tastes almost like bubble gum.
Yeah, it tastes like bubble gum. And it's basic. It's kind of there's this new crave about it in the States.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. So, and then there's durian, and durian is.
Durian's a perfect word for durian. Because it's
I never thought about that.
But yeah. Durian. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't smell good.
No.
It doesn't even look good.
No. Yeah. It looks so spiky that it's no, nature is warning you that this shouldn't be eaten. But somewhere, sometime, some dude was or some lady or whoever was just this looks good, let's crack into this shit. And, and then the smell didn't even, warn them that... they're oh yeah, that smells good. It smells basically like rotting ass.
It's so pungent and strong.
So pungent. It's ridiculous.
And it's kind of stringy once you chew into it.
Yeah. So
but
it's
the taste is
it almost looks like a meat though. It's bright yellow. It looks like a slug, almost like a yellow banana slug, but gigantic.
Huge.
Yeah. And then when you fork at it, it's stringy.
Yeah.
Almost like inside of a spaghetti squash or something.
The taste I could closest compare it to is rotted onion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was...
But there are...
I guess they're different too. Some are sweet, but the kinds that I smelled and the ones I tasted, I was this is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But I tried it. Check it off the list.
Yeah. I'm
going to move on with my life.
Yeah. And no looking back. But I think I remember hearing that it was the one that that Zimmerman dude just did not want to eat.
Yeah.
And he eats everything.
And I get it.
Yeah. But as far as like that fruit in particular, it's super popular over like all over Southeast Asia. It's known as like the king of fruits. And it is very expensive. So if you want to try it, be able to fork over some cash for it. And then they don't allow it in a lot of places too. It's like super controversial because it smells so bad.
Yeah, there's like actual placards of like, warnings, do not bring that into the hotel or hostel or taxi or
bus or train. It's like
or
all
like you
public
can get slapped
places.
with a huge, like even some are like 3,000 baht fines.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
it's definitely a no-no because it's that strong and pungent.
Yeah, literally, it like takes your breath away.
Yeah, I mean without even having opened it.
Yeah, no, totally.
But once you open it, it's like also amplified.
Yeah, and when you cook it, you're dead.
Yeah, if you fry it up.
Oh my God. Anyways, then there were a bunch of 7-Elevens. One of my favorite things with like the 7-Elevens was to go in there and try all the different like weird kind of quirky Asian snacks that you would not be able to find anywhere else. And I remember they had like a lot of green tea flavored little treats, like Oreos in particular were one of my favorite little snacks. Which were really good. But yeah, just a ton of different treats that you can try in the 7-Elevens, as far as like different flavored funky chips, like squid flavored chips, or, just like a bunch of oddball shit.
Random. Yeah. Who knows what you'll find.
So it's just even interesting to go in there and look at them. You don't even have to buy them, but then you can have the AC experience. But I was also getting obsessed with having at least like one of the young coconuts per day. At least one.
What's a young coconut?
So a young coconut is what looks like it just fell from the tree. So it's got the outer shell of it. It's not like the little, inside brown nut looking thing. It's like the actual big ass coconut. And then they chop into it and basically stick a straw or spoon in there, and then you just drink the straight up coconut water, and then you kind of, if you've got a spoon, you like scoop out the inside, which you hated when I did.
Well, because so the inside, the meat of the coconut,
it's soft.
Is soft still, and it looks goopy.
And it is kind of goopy.
Especially if you can scrape at it with the straw, it's this
good,
long, wormy, stringy, goopy thing, and it's
that was my favorite. I tried to get the longest little goopy coconut meat worm. Yeah, and like slurp it up.
Like I love coconut. Mm-hmm. If it's dry, if the meat's been dried, I could.
And that's so weird
eat
to
that
me.
Shit.
That's but it's so dry.
It's a texture thing.
I like the flavor, but yeah, they're super cheap. They're really good for you.
They're prevalent as fuck too.
Oh, they're everywhere. They literally, they're full of electrolytes and that lauric acid, so it's like a natural antimicrobial that helps with your indigestion issues. They recommend it highly if you're suffering from diarrhea, and
which
a lot of the time you will be. Yeah, and you can get them anywhere. You can get them in the big markets, you can get them just on the street, or any fruit markets. And I think the average cost is around 10 to 20 baht. 10 is pretty standard, so that's only 30 to 50 cents US, which is awesome. And comparatively to what you would be paying for a can, just a standard can or a larger can of coconut water back here in the States, it's $2 to $4 US. Yeah. So, yeah, you definitely...
And this is fresh as shit.
Oh, this is
literally, from the source.
Yeah, from the source.
Because I think a lot of those canned coconut waters are from Thailand.
Yeah, and they're pumped with gross flavors, right. And this is just the most natural that it can be. So I was having, like I said, at least one of those a day.
Yeah.
If not more.
But while in Bangkok, you definitely have to try the street food.
Gross.
What?
No, I was saying because you had a frog in your throat, and you always say gross to me.
Yeah, you gotta try it.
You gotta try this.
But yeah, in Bangkok, you definitely have to try the street food because it's everywhere, and it's just part of the experience of being in Bangkok. And it's crazy cheap.
So cheap.
A lot of the times you don't even know what you're eating. You just kind of walk by and see what's for sale.
That smells kind of good.
That smells good. Looks good. Let's give it a try.
And I remember one night we were on Khao San Road and we were like, oh, those skewers look pretty good. And so we start biting into them and I was like,
Oh my god, it's mostly bone.
Is this? Yeah, I'm like, I was expecting like a lot of meat, and I'm like crunching into like bone, and I don't know what the fuck this is. Easily.
It definitely throws you off. Yeah. Where it could have been the most delicious thing in the world because they look like little teriyaki bites.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's mostly bone. You're like, ooh, what the fuck?
And it was all long, and you're like, is this a cat tail?
Or like a rooster neck. Or like a gooseneck or something. Yeah,
like what the fuck
It definitely felt like the bones were in the shape of like a spine.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird.
I don't know if I finished it because I
don't think I did either.
That's throwing me off, and just the mental question of where the fuck this came from was.
Mm-hmm. But there's like literally you can just walk down the streets and see so much random weird shit that like. Just try it, you know? Give it a go. Figure it out. Figure what you like. Figure what you don't.
Try it, man. Just dive in.
There were like a bunch of these ones, like skewers that had perfectly circular little meatballs. Like, do you remember those? Yeah. Those were weird. Yeah. So anyways.
Remember that? That was weird.
Did I sound like I smoked a doob before I came over? Yeah. I'm just getting excited to go back to Asia because
Is that what we're doing?
Really want to. I don't know.
At some point, for sure.
At some point, we'll end up there because it's cheap and awesome.
Yeah. There's definitely carts there too where it's just trays of various different bugs, and that's just like the touristy, like, oh my god, let's eat crickets or mealworms or
it's
whatever.
More of the kind of novelty factor, I think, because we were told by a friend of mine who actually worked just a little bit north of Bangkok in Ayutthaya. She was
the old capital.
Yeah, she was teaching English up there, and so she came down and met us for a night, and that was pretty awesome. But she had told us, you know, like the bug thing, nobody really eats that. You know, locals don't really eat that unless they're like maybe hillside, you know, like deep in the jungle. Like that's what they kind of survive on is protein from the bugs. But
I think it's mostly for the tourists.
I think it is. Yeah, it's just another way to make some money on the street.
Yeah, just a novelty thing.
Yeah, but I mean, we were like, fuck it. I mean, this isn't what we're used to back home, so might as well try it out. Yeah. So one night we went to Khao San Road and we basically bought an entire
They were like, which one do you want? We're like, oh, can we just get like a little bit of everything?
Yeah, just
how much is that?
A pinch of this, a pinch of that, and there were crickets, there were grasshoppers, there were locusts, there were like grubs, there were water beetles, which was the worst by far, and they're all like cooked up, so it's not like
they're not like fresh. Squishy and you know, full of juice. They're all dried.
Which I probably would have tried if they were squishy and full of juice too.
Yeah,
but
I mean that's what we thought was gonna.
We did
happen.
But but I mean a lot of them had pretty good flavor. Like I actually ended up liking the crickets.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
They were good, and actually.
But the only thing is we couldn't get, which were like separately priced, are like the tarantulas and the scorpion.
Yeah.
One, because they're big, and two, they just charge
a lot.
Outrageous price just for those individually.
And I wasn't too butthurt about not having to eat the tarantulas.
I just want to try everything.
Yeah, I know. We need to go back and try the tarantulas. Yeah, we missed out.
Go back and eat spiders.
But when my friend Tamara did come down and meet us, she brought a few friends of hers, and we had a really fun night out on Khao San Road, and we ended up eating scorpions that night, and that was pretty good. They were actually pretty tasty, though.
That was honestly the best thing I tried out of all the bugs and creepy crawlies.
Yeah, you have to get over kind of the squeamish factor
of it. They're crunchy, but they're good.
Oh my god, and they had good flavor. Like whatever seasonings they tossed it with, I was like, but they were expensive.
They were.
So. But yeah, I remember that night we had partaken in the buckets. What they call buckets.
Which is like liquor, right?
So
and a shit ton of Red Bull and soda.
God. So the buckets they're these like, they almost look like little sand pail buckets for kids, you know, back on the beach. They fill it with a fifth of your liquor of choice. And then they have maybe like 1 or 2 Red Bulls that they put in there. And maybe a soda, like a little bottle of Coke or Sprite or whatever the fuck you want. But the thing is, the most crazy thing about this drink is that it is made with their Red Bull, and they don't have regulations on what is in their Red Bull.
It's different.
It's quite different. It's got a drug in there. And so their Red Bull has ephedrine, which is basically kind of like an upper. So I think you have like speed, liquor, and soda. So you're getting like sugar, speed, and booze, which is just kind of like a cocktail of fuck up.
Jacked up,
you get
for sure.
totally
as well as
up.
like,
yeah,
you're just like ready to go.
Yeah, after. So you don't want one of these to yourself, but you want to definitely like split it and pass it around with others. So it comes with like 4 or 5 straws, where it's just like people are passing around the buckets. Here you go, and it kind of made for a pretty fun night. We did end up trying laughing gas that night too.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Which I had never done before, but which is kind of fun and weird.
It was fun, but
I don't need to do that again.
Wow.
But yeah, when in Rome.
It was an experience for sure. It was quite the wild night.
Quite. But yeah, so we were kind of in the full-blown heat wave that was Bangkok at that time. So we were, kind of suffering through at least like 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius plus like 85% humidity.
If not more.
On some days.
It was so crazy hot.
It was pretty brutal.
When the locals are like, it's hot, then it's fucking hot.
Yeah,
because it's hot normally, but this was like, even the locals were like, oh my god.
Yeah. So you just kind of deal with it the best you can, and we were wanting to see a lot of the temples around Bangkok, because there were tons of different really well-known, beautiful temples.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that we were told that is a must-see was called Wat Po, and it's a Buddhist temple, and it was also known as like the temple of the reclining Buddha.
Yeah.
So it's like this gigantic golden leaf plated, I don't know what the, but like completely covered in gold leaf, laying down Buddha. It's like 150 feet long, or what would that be in meters?
46.
46 meters. So it's quite a big
It's
Buddha.
huge.
It's
basically
a big deal.
Takes up most of the temple.
Yeah, but the grounds of this temple were just awesome, and it was only
it was so colorful and ornate. Details.
I think they had like 20 plus of those stupas or chetties or whatever they call them, but they're basically like these spires kind of that come out of the ground, and they're all just decorated in different colors and kind of ornate little carvings, or like a lot of them are gold, and it's quite the sight to see.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But it was only like 100 baht to get in, which is only $3 US, so that was pretty cheap.
Also, get your tickets at the legit gate. There's gonna be people selling things like out front, and it's just a bullshit ticket.
Yeah.
As well as it's gonna be like multiplied the price times 5.
For sure.
Definitely get it at the actual gate, and don't try to like score a deal from the whatever. Yeah,
because most likely it's not a deal. But we were also told that if you wanted like a guide to take you around to find out more about it, it would be like 200 to 400 baht, which is, about like $6 to $12 US, which isn't bad, but it doesn't, I don't know if they charge you that per person or not, so
I don't know.
It might be a little expensive. No, we just kind of walked around, which was totally,
our pace.
Satisfying, our pace, and really chill. They had like almost like these Zen kind of gardens too, with different, and it's funny, I read in, I think it was like a website somewhere, they had kind of given a description of it, and they referred to these little like statues or little Zen gardens with the trees and like the naturescapes, which I thought was one of my favorite parts about it. But they referred to these these parts as being the comical Chinese. And I was like, what? So they're kind of like digging into, I don't know. They're like, these comical Chinese statues. I'm like, they're not like comical. I think they're pretty peaceful.
Right?
Yeah. But I don't know. It was kind of funny. The grounds itself, I guess, started as like the first university in Thailand, which is pretty awesome. But it's like became a massage or like medical university. So they study that there, which is pretty cool. And I think that if you were to want to get like a pretty solid Thai massage, that would probably be the place to get it. But you probably end up paying a little bit more because, that's where it's known to be studied.
Like the originated.
So, yeah. But, I mean, off the beaten trail, you could find some Thai massages for pretty cheap. But also, if you're a woman, you might get your boobs massaged, I've heard.
Oh.
If you're off the beaten trail. It hasn't happened to me, but I've heard from several people that you could expect that. I don't know if that's like the female happy ending, because what else? I mean, right? I mean, it's not really like an ending or anything. You're not like, ooh, but here, let me rub your boobs. I don't know. But, in the reclining Buddha part.
Temple,
yeah. You can't walk in with a tank top if you're a female. So they do offer robes.
But chances are it's going to be hot there, so you're going to be wearing, light clothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do have robes that you can put on just for entering the temple, so you're not being disrespectful.
Exactly. So with shoes as well, you have to take those off before you go in. I think for most temples, if you're female, you need to have sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, don't ask me why they find our shoulders evil. No, I don't know.
You'll be tempting the male with showing skin, you evil heathen.
No, I don't know. I respect.
Yeah, I don't know.
I respect it. I don't ask questions.
Those are the rules. That's their culture. That's fine.
I'll joke about it a little later, country. But I won't. Yeah, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, and I would never disagree with any rule just because I don't.
Yeah, you will.
No, I don't. I abide by all that shit. But yeah, we also had these they would sell you these little bags of coins, or maybe just a handful of little, like, prayer coins. And I think they were just little pennies, basically, like Thai pennies.
Quit hitting that.
Little Thai pennies. I like to talk with my hands.
Well, back up.
Okay. But they had 100... They had 108. I'm doing it for you. You need this visual, don't you?
Yeah, it works for me.
Like,
now I know what you're talking about because I'm totally clueless of it.
Shut up. But yeah, so they had like 108 of these prayer bowls where you would, purchase these little handfuls of coins, and then...
They're just like lined up along the entire wall on the inside of the temple.
Mm-hmm. And so you place one coin in each bowl, or multiple coins in bowls, but I don't know. Carl was being very diligent with his coin placement in every single bowl.
And it had to have a purpose. And then I noticed that there was no one in front of me, and then...
A lot of people behind you.
Apparently I had clogged up the rhythm or the pace of the coin dropping, and I was like, oh, well, how do you know, what prayer goes in 108 coins? Don't you have to, think about it and place it? And they were like, no, just drop.
And so I was done, and I was filming him, because it was cute. But yeah, when you were leaving or entering kind of those really touristy temples or just any tourist attraction, you're going to see the most tuk-tuks, you're going to see the most cabs, you're going to see just a lot of people flocking to that area because they know that that's where the tourists are.
And that's where we can get the most money from.
Yeah. So they'll be trying to, offer you rides or taking you for a ride, as far as taking your money. But yeah,
you get a lot of it's Lucky Buddha Day. Did you want, or tuk-tuk,
thank you. Yeah. So you just, stand your ground, or just walk a few blocks and find a tuk-tuk.
Yeah, it's just when they're parked at those specific touristy destinations is where things are inflated and there's more scams. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you just walk for 10 minutes and you get, a lone tuk-tuk driver or something. Mm-hmm. Or a good rule of thumb is if there's a lot of locals around.
Totally.
Then that's where you can usually get a better price for a tuk-tuk or a cab.
Yeah. So, I guess that's kind of standard with any touristy area in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Thailand was probably one of the only places where we really had to be like, no, we don't want a cab. Because they would, while we were walking around, they would stop all the time and just be like, you want a cab, you want a cab, you want to ride, you want to ride. And we're like, no,
yeah,
actually,
they just
we're
pull
just
up
walking.
next to you as you're walking and what are you doing? You don't walk here. And
yeah.
You need a tuk-tuk. And we're like, no, we know where we're going. We're fine.
We're good. So I think they're just not used to seeing tourists walking around a lot.
Because that's just an American thing. It's just you don't walk. you drive or you get a cab or you take the bus, and it's just like, I don't know, I guess we're kind of...
We're an exception because we have no time limit. But a lot of people who need to, see a city fast, they've got to take those transportations. So, but yeah, like literally right across the river from Wat Po was another, like probably the most recognizable temple in all of Bangkok. And it was called Chao Phraya. Oh, wait, that was the river. It was called...
Wat Arun.
Ah, thank you. It was called Wat Arun, or the Temple of the Dawn.
What a rune.
What a rune. Water.
Water would be nice.
But yeah, Wat Arun has one of the tallest stupas or chetties, and it's about 70 meters high, or that's 230 feet tall, which is crazy.
Yeah, it stands out, especially because there is that void of any other buildings with the river being there.
Yeah, for sure. And we had been lucking out on the entire trip thus far.
Lucking out in quotes.
Yeah, I would say I'm saying that sarcastically. But we've been having luck with getting to certain, major landmarks, and all of them being covered in scaffolding.
Constantly.
All the time. It became...
2015 was the year of renovations and...
Everywhere we went.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so we were...
It became an ongoing joke.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, good scaffolding's on this. Great. I didn't want to see it anyway.
No, I had no desire to see this.
But brilliant.
Yeah, Wat Arun was one of those, and like that gigantic spire was just completely covered in scaffolding. You couldn't even see it.
So we were gonna go check it out, saw it completely covered from a distance, and we're just like, and all desire to go there and check it out just faded, and that saw what I wanted to. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else we can do.
Yeah, so hopefully, we can go back there someday and see it when it's not covered.
Someday.
In the future. Anyways.
But we heard that it's a super amazing thing to witness and see once it's lit up during what's called the golden hour at sunset.
Yeah.
Just because it does stand taller than most other buildings and structures around the area, and with the river there,
and it lights up.
It's supposed to be really picturesque.
Yeah, so we'll go back and see it someday.
Yeah, so we just waved high and by and got on a boat and went upriver.
Yeah, and we did find out that the boat rides that you can get, or ferry rides that you can get around the river.
Aren't they called something specific, like it starts with an L, I want to say.
I don't know.
It's basically... Oh, no, those are something else. Were these the ones that are like almost canoes with a motor on it?
No, but there
these
are
like
some of those. These are like the houseboaty ones. Yeah, well, these ones are, they're just big boats.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You like that?
That's good. Let's keep that.
Let's keep it in. But yeah, these boats are super fast because they don't have to deal with traffic. They just scoot up and down the river. There are a lot of little spots along the way. I think they're all designated in numbers and colors of what pier they get off at.
Yeah, it's basically a bunch of little wooden docks that it'll just stop real quick. Almost just like a bus
system kind of.
But on water.
Mm-hmm. Which is really cool. And they're super, super inexpensive. You can get an all-day pass for $3 US, or around 100 baht, and you can get a one-way ticket for about 10 to 40 baht, which is only 30 to $1.20 US.
30 cents.
30 cents, yeah.
So super cheap, yeah.
Very cheap. And then to cross the river with a ferry, if we wanted to go to that
just to the other side.
Yeah, just to the other side. It would have only cost us about 3 baht, which is literally less than 1 penny US. So
nothing, yeah.
Quite a ways of, quite a ways of what? I don't know. What am I saying?
I don't know where you're going with that.
I wanted to say quite the way to travel when you're on a budget, because it's it's easy to get around and cheap as shit.
Cheap.
But yeah, with tuk-tuks, I think you're going to be paying at least 100 baht.
Honestly, you don't see Thais and tuks that often.
hardly.
A lot of the time, it's
unless they're crammed in there with
clearly
a
bunch of tourist
people.
or someone from a different country.
Mm-hmm.
But a really cheap way to get around is the local bus. The system is super efficient.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much research to kind of figure out how to get from where to where. I mean, if you went in blind, then you would have no idea.
Oh, absolutely no idea.
But a little bit of research to look into the Bangkok Mass Transit Authority or the BMTA.
Yeah.
They have maps and what numbers to catch, and you can really save some coin by taking that.
And if you don't mind, like, getting around in sweaty, dirty buses, like, if you don't mind...
Yeah, some don't have AC, some do, but some don't.
Yeah. But it's also a really, like, authentic way, I felt
For
like,
sure.
of seeing a city.
This is what the locals take.
This is what the locals take.
And it's like, it'll cost you like 7 baht.
Yeah.
Or something,
Which is very inexpensive.
And a good... reminder tip is to just have exact change.
Yes.
Because they won't give you change.
No. If you give them a big bill, they'll be like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
But most of the time, they just don't have change for bigger bills.
But yeah, it's usually just around 7 to 10 baht, which is 20 cents to 40 cents US.
Cheap.
If you have an aircon bus, it's maybe around like 20 baht, which is like 50 cents.
Yeah.
So super cheap. It's super cool to check out because all the locals are on it, and it just gives you more of a authentic feel for how the locals get around and commute.
One thing to note, though, if you are on those buses, they kind of don't like to stop fully, so you got to be careful.
Stops.
Yeah.
For the quote stops, they don't always fully stop. The bus might go to a slow roll, and you're expected to
all right,
hop off, or they're gonna take off again.
It gets interesting with big packs on your back too.
Especially if there's like a line to get out the door and they don't want to stop.
Yeah.
If you're like, go, get off the,
Just go. Yeah, but they're, I would say they're the way to go. That and the water taxis. I think that's what they call them. There's also another form of transportation which we never took here. We took later on in our travels in Southeast Asia, but it was basically the motorbike taxis. And those are everywhere too, but we weren't even looking for them because I think we were like somewhat timid when it came to jumping on the back of a motorbike.
The traffic's crazy, and like if you're in the tuk-tuk, you're kind of in this small motorbike with a cage.
Yeah.
But if you're on just a motorbike, you're exposed as fuck.
Yeah.
And this was our first experience with Southeast Asia, and I think just the way traffic operated and ran, we were like, there is so much traffic here, and like we saw a couple wrecks, and we didn't want to be one of the people on that list.
Yeah.
Especially when you have no protection and you're fully exposed on a bike.
I think for me, I didn't really mind the, getting on a bike. It was more of the, how do I approach it? Are they going to speak English? I don't know how much they're going to charge. Are they going to try to rip me off? That's kind of where my hesitation came from. And I just wasn't accustomed to let me jump on the back of some dude's bike and hope that he takes me, somewhere I need to go.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing that these are probably one of the cheapest forms of transportation that you can take.
Okay.
And I think you can get around so much faster than tuk-tuks. Because tuk-tuks get stuck in traffic, whereas motorbikes do not. They just, wind around and can get through any congested street. They just weave through,
parked traffic because...
Oh, they go on sidewalks. They just don't give a shit. They don't have rules, basically. It's
I mean, it's, unspokenly legit, where, they're not going to get a ticket for pulling up on the sidewalk.
No.
And then...
That's where they park. That's parking lots, are sidewalks.
Yeah, that's true.
And so they would be wearing a certain vest and have, credentials that they are legit, motorbike taxis. But if you are looking for a lot of info because you're going to Bangkok, I noticed that there was an awesome website that's just Bangkok.com. I think it's put out there by, hotels.com or something. But they have so much information on there if you're looking to find out anything about Bangkok. Just how to get around, what to see, where to go, all that shit. Yeah, so...
One night.
One
dark and dreary night.
I was also going to say that Bangkok.com does not endorse us. We just are saying you might want to check it out if you want more info. But yeah, one dark and dreary night.
So we had noticed from multiple areas around Bangkok, during the evening once the sun went down, that there was this big glowing, almost like, a little temple or like.
It wasn't little.
It looked like a big golden Hershey kiss.
It did.
That was glowing on top of this mountain. And we were like, what the fuck is that?
A golden nip.
Big golden nip.
That had a light beaming out the top of it.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. It was very noticeable.
So we had to check it out because you could see that from just about anywhere.
Yeah, so this was another temple. It was called Wat Saket, and it's also known as the Golden Mount. And it just sits on top of this kind of little hill, smaller hill. And, it just has this giant golden stupa, which was pretty cool. But the walk up there was pretty awesome. It was just total nature, a lot of trees. It's really well constructed and pretty clean.
Yeah, they definitely take care of it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know that we paid to go up. I remember there was a little...
No, you know what? We got to there was this little wooden ticket booth and no one was in it and we were just like, well, let's just go, huh?
I guess we can
I don't know if the person
there.
in there had to go to the bathroom or
break
whatever.
Or
I don't know, but we were like, well...
break or something? Yeah.
I've been getting scammed as fuck around this city, so let's just roll up and go through.
Yeah, so we climbed to the top of it, which as we were climbing, it was getting pretty... the weather was starting to, dark clouds were starting to roll in.
Lightning in the distance, and it was getting closer, and something was rolling in.
Yeah.
And pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, and you would have these, thunderstorms just kind of come and go. I think it was...
Yeah, where they last 10, 20 minutes, maybe, if that even, sometimes.
And so we were just like, all right, well, let's hurry to the top so we can see it before the storm rolls in. And we do get to the top, and I think there was a Buddhist library up there, or
/ gift shop.
Yeah, it was pretty
info center.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. It was, but we didn't really feel like we had a whole lot of time to just kind of chill and check out that area. So we just kind of rushed to the very top to see the surrounding view of the city, and
Took
then
some
also
photos.
Yeah, to see the big golden mount. Once we got up there, it started drizzling, and we're like, oh. And then it started raining, and we're like, oh shit. And we wanted to get down as fast as we could because we were on this kind of big, hill. And there's a lightning storm coming, and we're like, well, we would probably not like to get struck by lightning and possibly not get completely soaked with rain.
Yeah.
So we start heading down, and it was literally we saw within instant, it was almost a flood rushing down these steps.
It was like running away from an avalanche. But it was this river of water that was behind you, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. So we finally found a little, corner, a little nook kind of tucked away where there was coverage above your head.
Kind of,
yeah.
And so there was, these little seats in there. It was so small. I mean, it was only, a little crevice.
Yeah, and there was another German family that had gotten stuck in there, too. And so there was 3 or 4 of them, and we were trying to squeeze in and not get completely soaked.
But man, it was dumping.
Pouring.
You could literally see a river of water coming down the steps and just continue on.
Yeah, so which was, it's kind of cool because it's not so cold that you're
It's not cold at all.
It's not cold at all. So it's okay, I'm getting wet, whatever,
But still, you're I have electronics and...
Just make sure. Because we did have rain jackets and we were kind of covering whatever we did have that was valuable, and we didn't want to get wet or broken. But then, literally, we were just trying to wait until it let up, and it didn't.
It didn't. It kept on.
So we just were like, all right, fuck it, let's
so we kind of talked with the German family for a little bit, and then we were like, well, I think we're going to go.
Yeah.
Good luck with waiting this out, guys.
Yeah, totally.
So we literally just booked it and started running.
Yeah.
And my God, once we got to the bottom, to street level, there were so many places where it was just pooled with water.
Oh, yeah, huge puddles.
And it's dark, too, so you had a hard time, gauging how deep this puddle was. Is it going to be an inch, or is it going to be 6 inches deep?
So you go to step down in one of them, because you can't avoid it, and you go totally ankle deep, and you're like, shit.
The streets of Bangkok are just choppy. So
yeah, total choppy. But this was like one of my most memorable, I think, like little night walks that we took, little adventure night walks. And I remember like looking around at people just kind of like tucked under whatever they could to, try to
seek shelter.
Yeah, seek shelter and wait out the rain. And there was one room that I remember seeing that was just super dimly lit and like smoke-filled air. And I could see like all the cherries of everybody's cigarettes, but it was like 12 different dudes just like surrounding this table playing cards. And I was like, that's kind of cool. It was just like almost one of those romantic...
Just like an open door.
Yeah, just like travel moments,
yeah.
Like just something that you totally remember. But yeah, it was just fun to, kind of wander the streets while it's raining and...
Yeah, we were just running and eventually we were just like, all right, we're just going to get soaked, fuck it. And just like having a good time running around the city.
Yeah, for sure. We escaped the rain eventually. But yeah, it was fun though. I really liked that night.
Yeah. But before, when we had talked about getting taken for the ride for the Lucky Buddha Day, we were on the way to the Chatuchak markets, but we still hadn't got to it because we totally, that took up the day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But eventually we did make it there. We walked all the way there, which is a good distance.
It was a long ways. It was a hot day, too.
It was hot, yeah.
Shit. But it was cool, just another, day kind of walking and exploring and stuff.
Checking it out on foot.
Yeah, for sure. But God, that place was insane. How huge it was. There were so many stalls or booths, and it literally... Did we have to pay to get in? I can't remember.
I don't remember if there's like an entry fee.
Yeah.
I want to say there is, because
they
take advantage of charging for anything.
Yeah, but it's like, I could see why, because literally there are anything you could ever want to buy, you'd find here.
It's just endless little booths and stands and
souvenirs and clothing, and it's just like little trinkets here.
There's artwork
there's food courts. Anything. There's so I remember there were a few stalls of like newer used sneakers, like sought after sneakers, and I was like, what is this? Is this like a thing, It was just like old, like 90s, like Sambas or like certain like sought after Nikes or something that like they had in pristine condition, but they're like, yeah, they haven't made that shoe since like it came out, like it's been a while. And there was like an entire booth of just a shit ton of shoes.
Some were just like booths with all used sneakers.
Oh, all of them.
And I was looking for some used shoes because my ones from the Camino were pretty shot.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Anything you could think of.
But literally, you could spend all day there and just,
hundreds
wander. Of booths. And yeah, there's so much shit. So that would be the place that I would want to go shopping if I needed something. Oh, I remember when we left there, though, we were going to catch the train back because it was so long to walk there.
Well, we had noticed, too, that, like, the train line was just nearby. So we were like, oh, well, fuck, why don't we just take the train?
And the train is air-conditioned, so it's like when you walk onto that thing, you're like, oh, heat wave. Yeah. But there were thousands upon thousands of dragonflies flying around this park outside of these markets. It was so cool. Was that too radio-ish?
So cool.
It was so cool. Hey, hey, hey. No.
Wendy coming for you live from B-Talk.
Let me talk dragonflies.
So cool.
But yeah, stop it. When Martin and Megan showed up, they had booked a room in our hostel when we had told them where we were staying, but they ended up booking our room. So when we go to book a couple more nights, they're like, oh, no, sorry, we already booked your room out. And we're like, what? And so, yeah.
Later to find out it was because they had booked our room.
Yeah, we're like, oh, shit.
Which was fine.
Yeah, which was okay, because we literally, like, walked down the street, or just, like,
the alley.
Yeah, we walked down the alley, and there was another hostel right there.
That had space, so.
And it was super nice. It was, like, so clean, and it had AC blasting, like, all day, too.
It didn't get shut off at 11.
No, so you could just, like, go in there to escape it, But yeah, it was brand new, and it was even cheaper than where we were staying before. We were in a dorm room, so that's probably why it cost a little bit less than the private room.
Right.
And we did end up meeting a guy there he was from South Korea, was it?
Yeah.
And he had just walked the Camino because I think he had saw the patch that I had on my bag, and he's like, "Oh, Camino."
Of the Camino scallop.
Yeah, and I was like, "Yeah, we just walked it back in May," and he was like, oh, "I walked it in May," and he's like,
"Like
what?
Of this year?"
Yeah. So we were literally like walking that Camino the same time he was, which was just like one of those small world moments.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So we had a cool little Camino chat with him, and apparently he had just walked the French way for the 5th time.
Yeah.
And we were like, wow, all on the French way? Like, you didn't want to do the Portuguese route or any of the other routes? And he was like, no, I love the French way. And no matter how many times you walk it, it's always going to be a different experience because you meet different people. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and that's really kind of like the magic of the Camino is the people that you meet.
Yeah.
And the bonds you make. So that was pretty cool meeting him.
But yeah, also in our hostel, we did meet a gal who we noticed every time we were in the hostel, she was in the hostel, like in her bed, like lying down. Mm-hmm. And eventually she was up one day and we were like, hey, what's going on? You know, we're just starting to chat. And apparently she was basically bedridden.
Yeah.
Because she had been up in Chiang Mai and did this like jungle hike or something and got bit by a mosquito and contracted dengue fever.
Yeah, so she was hurting. Like
so
she
was like I think at the time she was on the fence about going home. And then the next day she was like, yeah, I'm leaving. Yeah. And she'd been traveling, backpacking for close to 2.5 years.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And that, you know, ended her trip for her. Mm-hmm. And she had to head home, which I think, you know, was bittersweet in a way. Like, she was sad to go, but also she was like, you know, it's kind of fine, too. I've missed my family and stuff. And But, yeah, it was...
It's cool, you know, like one good thing about staying in hostels is that you really do just come across a lot of like-minded people and just, you know.
You get cool stories and meet people from all over the world.
All over the world. So it's really, it's an experience that you can't get if you're just staying at a hotel, you know.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah, you meet some really cool people.
It's pretty awesome.
So once Eminem did arrive, they didn't have a lot of time before we were about to take off. So I had like planned out this full day.
So they had kind of like a day and a half, and that was it on that first day. And we didn't do much. We just took Martin out to Khao San Road, and Megan was suffering from jet lag, so she just stayed in the hostel.
We met them at the airport, and then we showed them the SkyTrain to get into town, and then took the bus back to, you know, Khao San Road, like backpacker area.
Yeah.
And then,
we took them out that night to Khao San Road, and just, you know, we weren't even out that late that night.
Right.
But then the whole next day, you had planned for them, like, what to go do and see and stuff, which
since,
was
like,
awesome.
we had been around and, you know, seen what, as far as what we had considered things are, like, a must-do or must-see, and also things that we hadn't done yet either.
Yeah.
So, we went and checked out Khao San Road during the day. We took him to the Pat Pong Night Market area, which we hadn't gone to yet, which was just like...
It's weird. It's like, so Circumvent Road, isn't that?
Succumbent?
So, yeah.
Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but that's what it looks like it's spelled.
Yeah, that entire street is basically just filled with sex workers.
Yeah. It's like young little Thai girls.
Young too. It's kind of, I mean, it's fucking depressing.
And because it's just Thailand, there's so many places that are just open air, open doors. And you see, you know, you look in and it's like these old fucking gross white dudes and these young little girls. And
white,
you're just like,
Western
oh my God, it's so disgusting.
And
You fucking creep.
It is pretty creep. So, yeah.
It's
I don't like to judge, but it's
hard
like
to soak that
when
in.
When they're so goddamn young, I'm like, no, this is fucked.
It's very obvious what's going on.
Yeah. And the thing that we heard was that a lot of the families in the outlying, you know, rural areas of Thailand, they send their young daughters to Bangkok to do that, to make money for the family, because otherwise they can't, you know, live on what the means that they make, which is an unfortunate thing to, you know, hear about. But it's also, you know, there is, I think, sex trafficking, and they know the market, and it's, it was just kind of a really, almost like a slap in the face, culture shock kind of change of, like, what you're used to seeing, and it depressed the hell out of me, and I wanted to get out of there as soon as I could. So.
We wanted to check it out to see what it was all about, but I think it had an impact that we weren't expecting.
For sure.
I think just, it was heavy in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the clubs too had some funky names that were just clearly,
You knew what was going on in there.
Yeah, like one was called Super Pussy, and just big neon letters, and you're like, well, there's no question.
I was like, is this where they do the ping pong shows or the sexy chopsticks? Because those would be some super pussies. But yeah, I remember just kind of wandering around the Patpong markets and just kind of seeing the different, trinkets and stalls and just kind of the craziness that are kind of like Thai night markets. Yeah. But there was one t-shirt booth, and they have tons of t-shirt booths and just like random weird shit.
Random clothing and hats, whatever.
There was one t-shirt in particular that we saw that was the absolute like most hilarious t-shirt you could ever witness, and it was just called Rasta Baby. And then it had a drawing of
It was like a toddler on its elbows.
It wasn't a toddler, it was a baby. It's called Rasta Baby. It was like a fat little baby face. And he had one eye that was kind of like trying to open.
Super squinty.
Super squinty-eyed. And then he had this big joint just sticking out of his mouth. And he, like a little Rasta hat on it.
It was the funniest shit. Just the concept of this idea to put this little baby, and it's just fucked up high with this big joint in his mouth, and it floored me.
What the fuck? Carl was literally.
I couldn't keep it together.
Trying to take a photo of it, and his hand was shaking. He was laughing so hard that
I couldn't get a clear photo.
No, it was blurry every time. So I was like, "Here, give it to me. I'll do it." But. Oh my god, that one had you just laughing so hard.
Just the whole concept. Like, why would you want a shirt with a fucked up stone baby on? It was like, why?
Like, who thought of that?
The appeal.
How high was someone that had to think of that concept to put on a t-shirt?
I lost my shit. I could not stop laughing.
It was fucking funny.
So I think it was after the Patpong night area, we were going to go get dinner, and I had the surprise for him. And so we had gone to a certain area, and it's basically like you went to this crazy office building. It was like an official, like government-looking building. Everything was like clean and sterile looking inside and AC. But you basically just walked in the front doors and then out the back. Mm-hmm. And there was this other building, and you walk through... And you get on the elevator, you have to go through like this almost metal detector thing, or like a security check.
Yeah, clear.
And they were like, "Where are you taking us?" And I was like, "Trust me." And so we get in the elevator and go to the top floor, and it was a rooftop bar.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, because there's quite a few of these. A lot of them are pretty expensive. Mm-hmm. This one seemed pretty cheap. There was no fee to get in, which a lot of them did have, and were really steep. And so we got out, and it was just this open air with all these seats. And the 47th floor, hence the name Cloud 47. Mm-hmm. It's actually not there anymore. It's permanently closed.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, I looked into it. But it was awesome. I got we got some killer photos. I have one of the best panoramic photos of, like, one of my favorites from the whole trip from there. Yeah. Yeah, we just got some drinks and some dinner, which wasn't that expensive either, because usually... Yeah, like I said, just the entry fee to get in, there is one, and it's expensive, as well as the menu's expensive. Yeah. But this didn't have an entry fee, plus the food was, at a decent price, which is maybe why they're not there anymore. Yeah. But it was super awesome. Yeah. And we just watched the sunset. Mm-hmm. It was a clear day.
I think that was before we went to the night markets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think so, because we watched the sunset from up there, and it was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was such a sight.
Yeah, so that was a really cool experience.
Mm-hmm. But I guess, that night when we had taken them to Khao San Road, that was when we had tried the durian for the first time. Yeah. So we had to let Martin or Megan try it.
Yeah, because going to Khao San during the day and during the night is an entirely different experience.
100%.
It's like during the day, it's all these stalls, which is kind of like during... the night too, but it's mostly for like shopping.
Yeah.
And then at night, it just progressively, as the night goes on, turns into more of like the party club
basically,
central.
Yeah. If you want to go
music
and
starts
get
going
messed
on
up,
and gets louder, and people start getting messed up and dancing, and it gets pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like the sex workers come out of like the shadows, and
the ping pong shows.
Man, I remember leaving to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I was by myself, and I was coming back because we had found this one place where you could pee for free.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
I was like, what, just down in an alley or something?
No, because usually you'd have to pay to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
But we found an area that had a gross bathroom with like cockroaches, but you could pee for free.
Yeah, that's true.
So I went by myself, and all of us, it was late at this point, and this girl came out of this alley and like grabbed me by the arm, was like, "You want to fuck my pussy?" And I was
my
just
God.
like, Jesus, like almost borderline dragging me back into this shadow alley.
Shit.
And I was like, "Get off!" And yeah, like that doesn't happen during the day, but
no,
shit comes out at night.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so the durian that we tried was gross, and we didn't even want to finish it. We paid like 400 baht for one big chunk of it.
Well, you had to try it. It's like you couldn't. Certain things you can't really escape the price of.
No. And so, we just ended up giving the rest of it to one of those frog women. Because she came and tried a bit, and we were like, "Do you like it?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's good." And we're like, "Oh, take it."
Part of her face was like, "No, this isn't good." But we were like, "Yeah, here, you can have the rest." And
or if anything, she could have just gone and sold it, to somebody else.
Right.
So I was like, "Okay, well." We ended up actually heading across from Khao San Road. There was like one of the major streets that got you there, and we just basically crossed to the section just right across the street from it, and it was a lot more chill. It wasn't as crazy or like vibrant with like blaring music or anything like that. And we ended up finding a little, it was like a VW bus that turned into a bar. Yeah. So like the top came open, it had little lights, it had like a cocktail menu. It just
had like drinks and shit lined up along the inside of it.
It was super cool. And so we're like, this is kind of more our scene. It had a bunch of like tables and chairs out on the side of it. And we're like, oh shit. So we just stopped there. And there were even like a lot of locals there too, they were all super friendly and like wanting to, talk to us. And, they all spoke English really well, and they were just like down to hang out and chill. And so that was a really fun kind of...
Also rare experience.
Yeah, little find, so that was pretty fun. There was a little chihuahua that was just chilling on the bar too, that I remember being...
Yes,
just
hanging out.
Super chill and cute. I guess it was the owners. We ended up just filling that, day full, jam-packed with stuff for them to go and see and do.
Just like an awesome, if you had one day in Bangkok, what would you do?
Yeah. And then, we had already booked our tickets south, so we were planning on heading to some islands, and the first, stop was Surat Thani, which is where you kind of pick up a ferry and you head to Koh Phangan, which is where we wanted to go to the full moon party.
Yeah, because they were getting there, M&M were getting into Bangkok just in time to make it to a full moon party. And that was like, a must-do, a must-experience.
Mm-hmm. We heard so much about it.
We asked if they were down to do that. And I was super excited to find out that we were going to be there in time for that. And they were up for it. So, we had gotten those tickets during our Lucky Buddha Day run-around, rigmarole.
And then, we just boarded a night train. And
we got an overnight bus train.
Bus train.
I'm reading overnight bus.
Oh, yeah. Oh, weird.
I don't know why you put bus.
Overnight train.
But it was an overnight train. I don't remember where it went to, but it was a train.
I think it was Surat Thani.
To a ferry, and then this whole ordeal basically to get to the full moon party.
Yeah, so it was quite a day's worth of travel.
But that's all coming up next time.
That will be next week. So, but we also wanted to, it's pretty insane. We also wanted to let everybody know that we are kind of watching who's been listening and where you're. We're watching you. we've been kind of paying attention to where people are listening from. Geographically, as far as all over the world, and then also just in the States in general. So we see you out there. We know you're listening, and we
thank you.
We thank you, and we want to know who you are. And if you have any questions for us, we welcome those gladly, and we'll answer those on any given podcast coming up where we can, and we feel like, we want to engage with you guys. Yeah. So yeah, tell us who you are. Tell us what travels,
what questions you have.
Yeah, tell us what travels you've been on, or what your future plans are. If we can meet up in the future, that would be awesome. If
we may cross paths. Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, so we're just looking forward as fuck to our new trip coming up, which we're leaving August 8th to head to Barcelona.
Yeah.
We've already purchased.
I just had my last day of work yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like beaming with excitement.
It's just like the countdown now, too.
Yeah, it's like, it's getting real.
It's getting real.
It's really, really real.
So really, go check out our website, too, because we actually have time to do stuff on it. So we're coming out with a lot more of the photos from this trip that we're talking about, and then also our upcoming plans and where we're going to be. We'll have events posted of how you can follow kind of where we're at.
It's all at trailofbeans.com.
Yeah. And yeah, we're just super excited that you guys are kind of along on this ride. And we want to talk more.
Quit drawing it out.
I know.
Thanks so much for listening. Whitney, shut up. We'll go.
Hey, shut the fuck up. No, I'm just joking. All right, we love you all, and thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
If you liked what you heard, subscribe to our podcast.
If you feel inclined, leave us a comment or review. Tell someone you know who might enjoy to have a listen, and feel free to share on your choice of social media.
If you want to know more about us or see any photos of our travels, you can check out our website at trailofbeans.com.
We also have a Facebook page where you can follow us on our upcoming adventures and get updates along the way, which can be found by searching @The Bean Trail.
We'll be back next week. Same beans,
same pod. Cast.